guys are supposed to save this thing, we'll go ahead and finish that up today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have you guys present it. So make sure and put it 22 font, you know, question, title, picture, website, the whole deal. And we'll go ahead and talk about what we have here. Dylan, what's the difference between point source and non-point source? Do you not remember? Logan, do you remember?
Point source, you can actually see the source of it.
Good.
Non-point source, it just kind of like flows upstream. You don't know where it came from.
Good. Now, a point source, you can actually point to where the source of the pollution is. One factory, one household, you know, one oil well. A non-point source is so spread out and disseminated you can't figure it out. It can be a, you know, 20,000 acre stinking farm. You don't know where the pollution's coming from exactly, just it's there. Or a, you know, a burned area of, you know, 100,000 acres. You know, they keep getting burned up in Colorado. It's too big and you can't point to the exact spot. The 1972 water law that we have in the United States is really good about monitoring point sources. The EPA will come in and find you. Non-point, there's no real law for that, no federal law for sure. So, we're doing a good job with this, we're not doing a good job with this. Plastics. There's stinking plastic everywhere, right? What do we do with most of the plastic? Where'd it go? Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, well, we throw a lot of it away. A lot of it goes to landfill. We try to recycle what we can, but where did most of our plastic recycles used to go? The country I love to hate. China!
China.
Stinking commies! Now, we used to always send this plastic to them, but they refused to take it like 4 years ago. So then, we started shipping it to these little bitty countries in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia, Malaysia, and all these countries over there. What they said they were recycling it, but what are they really doing with it? They were just dumping it in open pit landfills, and then the wind was blowing it into the stinking ocean. So there's these huge gyros, whirlpools basically, of plastic in every basin, North Pacific, South Pacific, North Atlantic, South Atlantic, middle of India, that's just full of stinking plastic. Does the plastic decompose? Does it break down the elements so a plant can take it up and grow?
No.
No! The stinking stuff just disintegrates. Smaller, 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 smaller. Until finally it gets so small, it can actually be a condensation nuclei, which is a miniature piece in a raindrop. And it's just millions of molecules of H2O all the way around it. So unfortunately, we're consuming a lot of this plastic. We're drinking it, it's in our food. Not so good. A lot of these plastics have something called biphenyls in them, which is an estrogen mimic, which means 90% of the men in the world now have half the sperm count they used to have. So nobody can get pregnant no more. Yeah, which sucks because the girls are all going through their menstruation when they're about 8.
Yeah.
Because of all these stinking biphenyls. Yeah, so it's gotten weird. You don't want to give this to your youngsters. Little bitty babies are all the way to 8 years old. It's even worse if you heat it up in the microwave, like a sippy cup or whatever, like you give kids. You can get biphenyl-free plastics in order to do that. Make sure and do that. Coal ash! Coal ash is just what's left after you burn the coal. Basically, what they've done with coal ash is dig a big hole beside the stinking power plant and they just dump it in. Boop! And then it fills full of water. And then you got a big nasty coal pit that's full of a lot of heavy metals, cadmium, mercury, iron, arsenic. And of course, half the time they soak in and then get into our groundwater. I think North Carolina has like 39 of these. Duke Power's gotta clean up like 6 of them. They're basically digging this stuff up and put it in a approved landfill, which has upwards of 3 feet of, non-permeable clay with a liner in it, so it can't leak out. That's what's best, and they're finally getting that done. Okay, mountaintop removal, well, just what the name implies. They do a lot of it in West Virginia, Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee. Bloop, bloop. Used to be they tunneled into the mountain, to pull the coal out. And they were like, you know, it'd be just as easy to take the whole top of the mountain off, dig down and get the coal from that way. Which is true, but what they do with the top of the mountain is they dump it in the valley that's beside it. Which of course you get a ton of soil pollution and heavy metals in there as well. West Virginia's bad about that. Fracking. Fracking is drilling down through shale or slate as hard as a tabletop, injecting high pressure water and sand, breaking the rock. The sand keeps the cracks open so they can withdraw the natural gas and oil. They've been doing that, I don't know, the last 15 years maybe. The guy in Texas came up with that. It's not a bad idea as long as, we'll put this as a fracking well, as long as you have a heavy iron side on both sides of the well pipe, so the natural gas can't get out and get into your aquifer. And when you withdraw the water, because you're injecting a lot of water, you gotta take water out of it. You don't take this water and just stuff it in the nearby lake, because it's gonna be contaminated with petroleum products. So those two big things are huge with fracking. Plus you're gonna use a lot of water in places that don't have a lot. Texas, how much water is in Texas? You know, like 2 cups? Come on, you know? I mean, there's nothing, there's hardly any water there, so. Mining can cause a lot of environmental problems as well. Usually what happens with mining is, say this is a mine going into the mountain. After they're done mining, the darn mine fills up with water. Well, you get a lot of sulfides and a lot of heavy metals in that water. If you don't block off the face of that mining tunnel, that all flows out and goes into nearby water. There are thousands of mines, probably tens of thousands of mines like that around the United States. Oil drilling, we all know what oil drilling is all about. It works, again, it works fine and great, just as long as you don't have a big oil spill. You guys seen it on TV, I'm sure, whether there's been oil spills, right? I mean, you know, the birds get coated, they flop around, you know, the fish gills get coated, they die. I mean, you know, come on, we all know what that's about. And then, of course, sewage treatment. Here in the United States, we got great sewage treatment because we got a great point source law to make sure. The places in India have great sewage treatment. Think about it. India.
They don't have it.
No, they don't. Yeah, and so they just run it out into their lakes and streams. Pew, yuck. China, same thing. Stinking China! You know, there's a lot of places that don't have this. Pakistan, you know, basically these third world countries, they don't have much for infrastructure. Here we do, we got great sewage treatment. So I'll let you guys choose, you know, which ones you're gonna do, but there we go, that'll work.